All right, everybody, good morning and welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel. Bit of a cloudy day today in Florida, and it's cold again. And actually, I should have filmed yesterday. It was absolutely beautiful, although it was very cold. Like, had frost everywhere at my house. And I know that's like, you know, I'm Florida. Probably most of you are somewhere where it's way colder. But in the Florida Citizen Handbook is a stipulation that if it's below 60 degrees, you have to mention it. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, we're gonna get inside the shop. But first, I figure we'd check out the neighborhood kitties. What up, cats? No? Not having it? Yeah, my neighbors feed the cats, which, I mean, I like cats. I got a cat at home. But they feed them, and there's cats everywhere around here. Anyways, appreciate everybody following along, sharing, subscribing, commenting, liking, all that good stuff. We're over 300,000 subscribers now, which is awesome. And can't thank you guys enough for following along on our journey. Let's go see what we got going on in the shop today. All right, well, one of my little projects is I got to fix my boo-boo from Sick Week. There's our little bit of cylinder head damage from SoccerMom. So I'm going to be welding that up here in just a minute. And the guys are over there welding something for Grant's Miata out back. But Grant's Corvette here, we've got a little bit more trim stuff done on it. You can see we got some carbon fiber tube protectors. This panel right here is about to be carbon fiber. So Eddie did a cheap, well, I say cheap, a cheaper, I think that thing was like $5 or $6 on Send Cut Send. Ricky's late. Oh, the shame. The shame. On camera, I caught you late.
Right now. Put your backpack on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Is that really happening?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay, well, that just happened. So one of the things we're doing on this car is obviously there's an importance on trying to be as light as possible. Grant and Chuck are very focused on weight reduction in this thing. So what is black sheet here is about to become carbon. This was a mock-up to see kind of how it fit and felt with it all assembled. We decided to make some changes. The power switch is going to go up top. This is brake bias. This is the ABS adjuster knob. There's the function for the chiller box, which pumps cold water through your shirt. Some other tuning plugins here, as well as a USB charger port for cameras and whatnot. But up here, we have a dash mount we're working on. Then we're going to be making the dash mount as well as a support for the fuel filler, all out of titanium. So we've got to get that designed up, get some titanium stuff ordered, and then get that all fit and welded. This is ready to be shortened, this power steering reservoir. We kind of wanted to get the hood on it and figure out the height of how high we can make it, so that way we've got as much power steering fluid capacity in the car. This thing, you know, an endurance road race car, the power steering fluid gets used up quite a bit. So got to make sure that we've got enough capacity there. Oh, cool, you got the lower radiator hose done?
Yeah.
Nice. So we had to remake this hose because Grant changed to a straight splined sway bar instead of one that originally dipped down here in the middle. Of course, that's a little bit lighter than a bar that was curved and should be stiffer, I would think, with it being straight.
I don't know.
Straight bars are always stiffer.
You would know.
Yeah, straight bars are stiffer. So you see we did aluminum hoses here, really good constant tension clamps, which this is one of the areas we sacrifice a little bit of weight on because these constant tension clamps don't come loose. So the car has 2 different radiators done for it. This is the radiator that's set up kind of for the low horsepower engine, and then we have a big radiator that also will be able to go in, and I guess you still have to make the radiator hoses. The mounts are done for it though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the mounts are done. The coolers, same kind of deal there. The coolers bolt on and can swap. So basically you unbolt these 2 coolers, change both so just the center bar changes here.
Yeah.
And then the top bar, right? Yeah, so you can kind of see how that is bolted there, that center bar. The tabs are for the ducting. So lots of little things that happen on builds like this. This is the headlight wiring here. Getting there. Getting there.
Getting there, taking too long.
Well, I mean, people don't realize what these things take. Like, yeah, this has been a long project, but there's a lot of small little things to consider. I mean, like we took the oil hoses back out once we liked how they were routed and sleeved them up here on the engine side to make sure the oil line should stay as cool as possible, I guess you could say. We've got this really crazy wrap on the headers, which was actually more expensive than the headers themselves, but Eddie's safety glasses just falling all over the engine.
Yeah. One of 5 pairs that I keep around this car.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah, but it's getting close. I think it's got fluids in the trans, the diff.
Yep.
The oil system is almost ready to be primed, right?
Probably today.
Cool. So it's got a Daly's dry sump system on it, you can see, and we'll be able to put a drill or some kind of electric impact or motor. Wouldn't use an impact on the oil pump, but some kind of electric drill on there, and then we'll be able to spin the oil pump and prime the entire oiling system, prime the engine before we ever even try to crank it. I think Grant is working on a tune for the ECU because it is a max? Yeah, it's a max ECU. So not too far from actually being able to fire this thing off, which will be pretty exciting. And then they're gonna go shake the car down with nobody on it whatsoever. So the roof will come off, we'll take the rear bumper off, and at the firm, our local track, they will be able to take it out and kind of put it through its paces, and just kind of shake the car down to see if any kind of problems arise. Probably won't have a windshield in it. I mean, I guess we could put a windshield in it, but it'd be a little floppy with only the three mounts on the top, but the full base of the deal there.
Well, we were gonna put the windshield in, leave the roof on and stuff, and then just not have.
Oh, just not have the sides.
Numbers.
Yeah.
So that might happen.
So maybe it's not what I just said. Anyways, so this is the other part I was talking about supporting with the titanium braces. So there's a lot of weight that gets put on here because this is for a quick fill fuel jug. So basically they stand the whole entire fuel jug, kind of like you see in NASCAR. I'll stand that up on the window here. It pushes this in and then floods it full of fuel as fast as we can. Well, that's a lot of weight to be just hanging on the, plastic window. So we're gonna have that's another deal that Eddie's doing in Send Cut Send, where we'll have a little tab that'll be on the underside of this between these 2 bolts, and then a bar that runs down to that bar there. And then we'll probably do something on the bottom. Maybe you can see that bar that runs under there between the filler and the hose. So lots and lots and lots of little stuff to do on this thing, but it's getting super close. The fuel system's all done, right?
Yep.
I guess we could even prime the fuel system if we were feeling sporty. Maybe.
We'd have to configure the PDM because it runs through the PDM.
Yeah. We couldn't. I guess we could just jump it with a little battery though.
Yeah. Could do that.
Make a jumper for the harness back here and prime it.
Yep.
So a lot of little trickery going on with the fuel system. Normally these cars, the driver's side tank is the primary fuel tank. right?
Yeah.
And we made it where the passenger side tank is the primary fuel tank.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more complicated than it sounds, because the primary tank in one of these cars uses like this weird siphon valve thing that uses the return, I guess, to suck fuel over from one tank to the other. I don't know how it works.
The feed. So you have your feed that goes through it, tees off. One side goes to the engine, the other side goes to the secondary tank, and it goes through this like
Little tiny venturi valve or something.
And it goes through and it sucks more fuel than you provided back to your primary tank, however you want to call it.
Well, hopefully it all works.
I hope so. If it doesn't, it's your fault.
We did a lot of researching on how to get that all figured out. And I mean, basically we just took the pieces from the tanks and swapped them, which we had to do a little bit of work there because the where the tubes went down to the low point of the tank was different for each tank. But hopefully that's all said and done, and we'll be able to try it here pretty soon. But, you know, lots of stuff going on in this thing. And it's definitely a little busy. There's another pair of safety glasses for good measure. So you can have safety glasses for your safety glasses.
Why do I do this?
Oh, shoot. This car, which we mentioned in the last video a little bit, got shipped here from Hawaii. And as you can kind of tell, things got serious pretty quick. So we got this little string in here for some mock-up stuff. And we have started upgrading the roll cage. And then I got a phone call from an engine builder friend about an engine that has the capability to be way beyond what we were originally talking about. So I've got a phone call with the owner this afternoon, because if he's buying that engine, we may need to upgrade the roll cage even more than we had originally intended. So yeah, this one's gonna be a fun one. And we've got some work to do back here with the rear frame rails and the tubs. See if we can fit a little bit more tire in there. Little things. And speaking of roll cage stuff, Ralph's...
Speaking of little things, Ricky's project.
I'm not going to touch that one. So, which we'll actually video this as it goes together. How about that? We'll do a time lapse on this. But the upgrade for Ralph's El Camino to be an 850 legal cage should be going in today. The top part of the cage has been painted. It's actually, you going in right now? Sweet. Well, let me get set up on a time lapse. But so we painted the top side of it where it's going to be up against the headliner, and then we're actually going to lift the body up to be able to weld as much of this as possible. This joint where that goes to the main hoop, and we gusseted it just in case we cannot get this joint fully welded. So I believe the rule is this has to be 75% welded to be able to use the gusset. Not to be able to use the gusset, that's not the right wording. It's been one of those weeks, y'all. It's been one of those weeks. So just a couple seconds ago I was talking about the roll cage, right? Well, I rambled on for another couple of minutes just talking about the NC that the guys are working on and like getting ready to wrap up the roll cage in the El Camino, and then realized the camera had quit recording. So anyways, let's go show what's going on with Grant's NC. That's not how that's going to mount. That'd be a little weird.
Correct. Just checking my spacing.
So CJ's working on the muffler. Grant ordered some kind of special muffler for this thing, and it's going to go right here at the back of the car. Champ Car has some decibel limits for their races. I think that's been the thing the last couple of years. So we finally got the pieces to put the front end together, because if you remember, this thing was supposed to race over a month ago. But this piece was super delayed from Mazda, as well as some of the piece that's behind the styrofoam, the crash beam. So we got that taken care of. We also added We welded in a bung, a nut basically, to be able to attach the toe strap to. That's a series requirement. In case the guys spin it off into the gravel trap or it breaks down on track. I have to run the Mazda badge for sponsorship stuff. So Mazda is I think a presenting sponsor for the Champ Car Series or something. And if you finish well running a Mazda vehicle, you get some contingency money, something like that. So we still have to finish up the air inlet for the engine, obviously. That's not how that's gonna be finished. That's the hood release there. This is a block off for the old, I guess the fog lights maybe. And the way Champ Car works, this is a repurposed piece of plastic from some other part of the car. And the way the Champ Car rules are, if you use pieces from other parts of the car to repurpose for other things, they don't cost you any points to your car's total value. See, camera quit recording again, but I caught it that time. So over 500 points, you start laps down to the field. So I think it's 501 points is one lap, up to 510 points, and then every 10 points after that is another lap down, depending on the length of the track, depending on the length of the race, something like that. It's been a few years since I raced Champ Car. I want to get one of our two cars back out, either that one, which we used to rent out to people, and then, you know, this one that you guys have seen me play with a little bit at the firm, which it's pretty much ready to go. It's just sitting out in the trailer. But I'm gonna stop yapping and get to doing some work. We'll set up the time lapse. I'm gonna work on SoccerMom cylinder heads. Ricky's gonna work on welding in the rest of Ralph's cage, or at least the top part of Ralph's cage. And then we're gonna get some stuff done. So let's get to it. well, you might have seen in the time lapse, I welded on a few different cylinder heads. And the first set was SoccerMom's, where we nipped the corner of it out at Orlando. This set is from the burnout car engine, the stock, what are these, 799s? Yep, 799s. So this is where a little damage got into, or some pieces got into one cylinder. So just welded a little bit on the deck there to smooth that up, as well as I still have some work to do to this one, because you can see it's got some pieces there where it got nicked. And surprisingly, the valve job really isn't hurt too bad. But I'm gonna put some new valves in that and see if they'll lap in, because the valves were bent, at least in that hole. That's the interesting thing about that engine. There was 3 broken rods and tore up stuff everywhere, and that's the worst damage it got. Like, that's nothing. A little bit of, like, this is just, it looks bad because it's beat through the carbon, but that'll clean right up. And then the other set are the set that's going on the new burnout car engine. So I was porting on them because we welded up where these were cut for top fuel hoops. Guy we had do them just kind of didn't do them the way they really needed to be done, and they leaked. The burnout car engine doesn't need hoops, so this is a good set of trick flow ASCAS 220 heads. So I went ahead and welded the hoops up. Actually, Ricky welded them up.
That's why they look good.
Hey, what? Really?
He is a Lumadaddy.
Mr. I use the pulsar all the time.
I'm gonna use the technology that's available to me. There are people that say fuel injection's cheating.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I like foot pulse. These guys like to run the automatic pulsar. I won't judge. Okay, yeah, I'm judging.
You're judging.
I'm judging.
I know.
Anyways, so I cleaned up the edge of the chamber because the welds hung into the chambers just a little bit. When these get decked, should be basically ready to bolt on. Oh, I'm gonna have these valve job too, because before we took them off of SoccerMom, all the valves kind of leaked a little bit, which is kind of normal for engine that's been beat on a while. They don't 100% seal. So we're gonna get a fresh set of valves, fresh valve job, probably a fresh set of ultimate RPM springs from BTR. Slam this puppy together onto the short block that I'm gathering parts for. I might have a problem with the short block because the pistons and the rods I want to use, I can't get right away. They're not shelf items. Gives you a little secret of what we got going on there. But that'll be another video. And the next video, we're gonna work on that. Promise. See you guys next time.